Hey everyone. Today I thought we could talk about gender and society. Gender is an important and complex aspect of human life, touching upon how we understand ourselves and our relationship, and also the system that we operate within. So it's a big topic, but maybe we can focus on understanding what gender means and why men and women face different challenges and what we can do to make things fairer. Does that sound good?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Sai. Talking about gender can really open up a new perspective, especially since it affects so many parts in our lives. So, what do you think, Najla? I agree with you, Sophia. Understanding the differences in how men and women are treated in society is really important. So, let's start with the basics. How would you both define gender when we talk about men and women?
Actually, that's a great starting point. And before we start, let's introduce ourselves and then we get into it. So, my name is Sayyidatun Nisak binti Muhammad Ghazali.
And my name is Nurul Sofea binti Muhammad Fauzi.
And my name is Nurin Damia painting my Amin Hamzas.
So, when we talk about gender in terms of men and women, I think we are referring to both biological and social factors. Biologically, people are born male or female, and this can determine things like their physical traits. But gender also involves how men and women are expected to act in society, which can be different from biology. So, what do you guys think?
Exactly. So, gender includes both physical differences and social roles. For example, society often expects men to be strong or tough, while women are expected to be gentle and caring. These expectations are often referred to as gender roles and influence how men and women behave and are treated. So, what do you think, Sayyidatun?
First of all, your laptop is covering yourself. Okay. Um, Yes, and these roles can vary, like depending on culture and history. Even though men and women have clear biological differences, but society has created like certain ideas about how men and women should act. Um, for example, men might be expected to work outside the home, search for incomes, to support the family. But yes, in finance, while women are traditionally seen as caretakers, housewives, tend for them to take care of the house. So, Sophia?
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. So, gender is not just about being born male or female, but it's also about what society expects based on being female or male. And these expectations are learned from a young age, such as our teenager's life or even in our kindergarten. Boys are often encouraged to play sports and girls to play with dolls. It's really shaped on their behavior as a man and woman later on. Okay, so what do you guys think?
Yes, I do agree with your point, Sophia. So when we talk about gender, we are talking about both who we are biologically and how we are shaped by these social roles and expectations. Just like how you guys just said that we are divided into the gender roles, right? So these roles can be limiting, though, and that's where a lot of issues come up that can lead from since school, where we all know that men are more preferred to take STEM than women, and then in the work the women face more inequalities more than rather than men regarding the gender pay gap. Have you guys heard about that? Yeah, and things like that. So Next, I think we will move on to the next topic, which is social inequality between men and women.
Okay, so from what we actually discussed about just now, because of society has this like stereotypes and they set a social expectation on both gender, men and women. So it is absolutely going to be like inequality, right? Just like what you said just now, pay gaps and stuffs. So now we have talked about what gender means. Right now let's discuss how these roles create inequality between men and women. How does gender create unfairness in society? Because the society shaped how expectation are being, right? So what do you think, Sophia?
Um, Let me share my point of view. So, one example of inequality is pay. Just like what you just said, pay gap. Okay, so studies shows that women, on average, earn less than men, as we all know. Even when they are doing continuous jobs like nurturing or working in labor, they earn less than men. Even though they put so much effort, but they still earn less than men. Okay, so this is often called the gender pay gap. Even though there are laws in some places to prevent this, women are still paid often less than men. This disparity can be seen in various industries, such as from corporate, office to manual labor jobs. For instance, in the tech industry, just like you said, men seen as the smart one who works in STEM industry, and also male software developers or often receive higher salaries and more bonuses compared to their female counterparts, despite having similar qualification and experience, such as women also have the degrees, hold the degrees and PhD, like men, but they often earn lesser than men. So, what do you guys
Even though
think?
they have the same even though they have the same qualification, right?
Yeah, I do agree with your point, Sophia, and I see that the differences um make it, how can I say that?
The inequality is very unfairness. It's very unfair.
Yeah, the inequality is very unfair to the women, and pay inequality is just one part of it. Society has historically pushed men and women into different types of jobs, just like how Sophia said just now. Lah, men are put into STEM industries, and then women more to be. From my opinion, I see that women are more put in labor force, and they are mostly at home, right? So this has come historically from years ago, and for example, women are often expected to work in fields like teaching or nursing, just like I said just now, and while men are encouraged to go into fields like engineering or business or corporate politics and so on. And I noticed that when they switch role, like women get into engineering, and when men get into women field like teaching or nursing, there will be a stereotype among the society, questioning their abilities and why did they do that? Why did the men go into the women field? Why did the women do engineering? And there are also some articles about gender inequality, just like I said just now, the labor force, where women are mostly getting underpaid compared to men. For example, in India, women are seen to be at home and do labor force, and um, jobs dominated by men tend to pay more, which is another reason the pay gap exists. And when the women participate in men's field, they tend to be facing hard time to get to the higher position because there is a barrier that limit their career growth. Have you guys heard about glass ceiling and glass cliff?
Absolutely, yes. I've heard about it, but I don't really put or I really understand about it. Can you guys tell me more about it? Glass ceiling and glass cliff?
Okay, so practically glass ceiling is about um in a about a woman in a male dominated field's job. So obviously it's going to be a whole lot of stereotypes, right? Like we can take for example about nowadays issues, like the president, election for United States of America. It is like lots of Americans like would say that if Kamala Harris is just Harris and not Camilla, she would be the president. If she's just Kamal or and not Camilla, she would be the president. I mean, like it is very, it is like interaction. Yes, the stereotypes happen. And have you guys heard about Nick Fuentes, the one that said, your body, my choice? Yes. So this guy is like, I think he's up for for an election or something, and then he made like a speech saying about how women's body are men's choice, and it is not exactly our body. It's their choice. Means it's their own for them. It's their um like property for them to keep, for them to use us. Like we don't have our own rights with our own body. So I think that's really messed up. And I think we have our, like, we have rights to our own body, and that is, I don't know, it feels mad. It feels very unsafe. A man like that is very dangerous. So that's what is inequality is. Not just male dominated jobs like engineering and stuff, even politics. You can see that, right? Even politics. So yeah, and about the Nick Fuentes problem is just, it's messed up. And not only that, it's just another issue is how men and women are treated in relationships. For instance, women often ended up doing like jobs like house chores at home, cooking, cleaning, taking care of children, even their husband they took care of. And even if they have full-time jobs, they will still be doing the same thing. Just their jobs at home and at work would be the same skill. So this adds extra pressure on women and reinforces the idea that home responsibilities are mainly for women. So what do you think about that, Najla? Is it Sophia?
Oh
Sophia?
yeah, yeah. I totally agree with you that women unfair treatments, like a woman called for being bossy, like they don't have the skills to be put in the leadership roles, such as you just said right now, from the corporate jobs to our stereotype, like the woman body is the man choice. I totally don't agree with that. So this can be seen also in our division of labor that starts early, such as girl, are often raised to do the house chores. Have you guys ever feel like you are being forced to do house chores? Such as, can you give me example?
Like I was trained at a very young age to like do house chores, like even do the laundry, sweeping the floor, anything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Me too.
Yeah, same goes to Sai. I was told to do house chores, and do the laundry. But my mom has been an open mind, and she asked my brother to do the same thing too, because to beat the stereotypes of women should do all the house chores. Yes, that cannot be like that.
Yeah, thank you so much. But as for me, I experienced some kind of those things back in the days when I was still a child, when it's a celebration or special events like Hari Raya, Aidilfitri. So we tend to do house chores or before we celebrate it, like cooking and some stuff. And for the cleaning stuff, they like my aunts told us to do the house chores, like, oh, you have to wash the dishes and the men can just eat outside or rest outside. Women should do everything. Yes, and I don't know anything about that. Um I just follow the instruction, knowing that it is unfair treatment towards women and men. So this also why this also can be seen that men, like boys, may not have the same expectation. These social norms push men and women into specific roles that always don't fit with their interests or abilities. Men also have the same abilities to do house chores. They also have the strength to do that, not just women.
Who have like disabilities.
Yes, 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 that's absolutely correct. So, for instance, girls might be encouraged to play with dolls and engage in activities deemed as feminine, like we are tend to play with Barbie dolls or ponytails, and men's are often play with truck or motorsports games and so on. And this can push into towards sports and masculine hobbies, like men should do this masculine and women should do this feminine activities, such as like that. And this early socialization affects their career choice and personal aspiration later in life, such as men nowadays want to be an engineer or working as a doctor, and women want to be as a teacher like us. So I think, of course, it's based on our own preference, but the society also push us towards that. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, I do see a point, and Sophia, I do agree with you. Just like since we are in IPG, we can see that there are fewer men than women, and from my experience, I see most of my friends go into STEM field, of being an engineer, architecture, a doctor, and I might go back to Sai's point. I might say that since you say that women are most likely to do house chores, and when they have a career, then they when they go back to their home, they have to still do the house chores. Yes, and I see that women mostly are likely to resign earlier than their husband, for just for them to take care of the child, of the house, and all of their house chores. And then it's like, from my opinion, I think it's like the society is structured in a way that keeps these differences going, even if it is unintentional. Yeah, when we keep pushing people into certain roles based on gender, it keeps the inequality alive. Yeah, we can see now. And then where men and women don't have the same opportunities or choice, like they might feel like men might feel like they should be in STEM field. uh, and then uh,
So full of themselves.
can you talk again, because we cannot hear you.
They would like the man would feel so full of themselves getting into like high peak jobs and stuff while women just stay at home, do your job at home. Like, no, I want to get into STEM jobs.
Yes.
To their ability, like they also want to show their potential, but men take over those things. Like,
Even though their education is the same level as men.
yes, yes, the society push us towards that. So I really think it's unfair, and we need to make a change.
Okay, I do agree with both of you. I love your points. And then I have an example here. Imagine there's a couple. I named them Sarah and David lah. And Sarah and David both went to the same university, and both of them want to have careers, but society expects Sarah as a woman to stay at home with their kids, managing the household, and while David as a man is expected to be the one who goes to work, who the one who will earn the money for the family. Even though Sarah wants to have a career, she feels pressured to stay at home because of these expectations by the society. And if Sarah stays at home, she misses out on building her career and gaining work experience. Meanwhile, David gets more experience and promotions at work. Uh, since they are a family, it might be good for the family, but not for Sarah. Okay, do you guys think so?
Like, can I start with um, sorry, I think it can totally affects their mental health. Like, she's being stressed, like, oh, I want to do that, I want to do those things, but I cannot. I've responsibilities. They think it as a responsibilities, not as like their responsibility to do that, to obey her husband, and the society also push her towards that, so she has no choice. So what do you think?
So with David, like gets more, like earns more money and have like more experience and get promoted at work. I mean, like men tend to have ego. Men tend to have ego. So it would be like one of his ego would actually like downgrade his wife. Like, what are you doing? The house is messy. Go clean it up. I work. I got money, so I have the rights to tell you what to do. Like, no, just because you earn money doesn't mean it is that. You know what I'm saying? Oh my god, I cannot with that.
Um, I'm sorry. We this topic is comes to a sensational part. Yes.
I'm so sorry, like this topic like trigger our anger because
Because this is what happens in society right now.
so you can continue.
Okay. But we swear we are not against men. We still want to get married. Okay.
Just to a good man.
Yes, like I hope that we can make a change, like we can change the perspective of women as also can work and men also can be in the caregivers role, kind of like that.
Okay. I will continue the story. I haven't finished the story yet. Okay. And then over time, David will earn more money and build a stronger career. Um, okay, we will continue. Alright, David will earn money and build a stronger career, and while Sarah may struggle to get a good job because she hasn't secure a job yet, and when later she decide to work outside the home, and this will create inequality because Sarah is not getting the same chance as David to grow in her job or earn more money, and from my opinion, when they have the same what do we call that, qualification, and then they might graduate at the same time, but David might earn more because Sarah have the limitation for herself. She cannot go to work early, or she might need to resign, or she might be facing some problems that might limit her career growth. Yeah, and these rules, from my opinion, are passed down through families, schools, and media. For example, if young girls see only women in their families taking care of the home, they might believe it's their job to do so. And if boys might think their role is only to work outside the home, earn money, so they don't learn how to take care of home responsibilities, how to do house chores. They might not be taking care of their children. Not, I'm not saying all, but might be most of them. Yeah, because of the stereotypes. Okay, and this cycle keeps going, making it harder to create equality between men and women. Okay. Um, that is the end of the topic. We have agreed to the issue, and we will move to the next topic where about gender stratification and social stratification. Okay, may I start first? Yeah. Okay, now let's talk about something called gender stratification. Basically, this means that society give more power and status to one gender over the other, often put men in higher position. What do you both think?
Is it like glass ceiling like you just said just now?
Yeah, yes.
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
sure. So, gender stratification is about how men often hold more power in society. For example, the job stuff. For example, in many workplaces, so women are more likely to hold leadership roles, like being the CEO of a company. Like this, actually uh, makes it harder for women to get the same opportunities or reach the same level as men, because It's just stereotypes, right? Like what it is being placed. So
Thank you, Sai. I absolutely agree with you, and I want to add some point. Like, this is not just limited to jobs; it also affects politics too. Like Kamala Harris, or in the United States now, that we talk about in most countries, and men hold the majority of government positions. Like we all know, most of the politics roles were taken by men, like being members of parliaments or heads of state. Okay, this lack of representation can mean that issues important to women might not be heard as strongly or considered, or their some of their worried are not being taken seriously. So, for example, when there are fewer women in government or politics about or policies on women health, equal pay or family leave might not receive enough attention. Have you guys ever feel that kind of way or situation? Right. So without enough women in leadership roles, their needs and concerns are less likely to be prioritized. Like we all know that women who are pregnant might not have enough rooms or enough treatments towards them. Yes, this lack of female representation in politics makes it harder for women to have their voices heard and can lead to laws and decisions that do not fully support women rights or needs. So I really think that we should do something about it.
Yeah, I do agree with you, Sophia. And from my perspective, I've seen some of the parliament. What do we call the parliament? The parliament. When they do the parliament, since there were fewer women than men, since the men is the majority, they tend to downgrade the women. Okay, I've seen the bickering in the parliament, and I think that is one of the type of the stereotypes where they think they dominate the field. Yeah.
A loud voice or be considered as strong, they tend to take over the parliament, and women might feel scared to voice out their worriedness and so on. So moving on to Najla, what do you think?
True, and men face their own limitations. I do get that men might face their own limitations because of gender stratifications too. For example, since we expect men to be tough, and strong, and they are not showing they didn't get the chance to show their emotions, which can make it hard for them to seek help when they are struggling. These expectations can be damaging even if men are seen as having more power overall. People might think that they are weak when they voice out, yeah, when they voice out their emotions. Then furthermore, there's this one thing called glass cliff and glass ceiling that we were talking about before, and I want to expand more details about these two. Where we know glass cliff is a situation where women are put into higher position, but it is risky for them. They will take the rest rather than if we change the situation where men to be put in the higher position, then when they do some when they do, yeah, mistake, it is the company who will cover them. But when the woman in the higher position, they will blame the woman for doing the mistake. Like they will say the woman do the work by following her emotion. She is not aware of her emotion, and she will be blamed for the downfall of the company. And the I think the glass ceiling is clear by the science explaining about it. So, but I might add some where this is the barrier the women face when they are in the, I might say, in the male dominated field. they might be facing hard times to get into higher position, to get a higher pay, because they will put men over women in this situation. So what do you think, Sai?
And exactly, these stereotypes and social expectations, like the glass cliff, it is. I think it's horrible because men are being protected at work whenever they made a mistake, but women are being like blamed all her life for making the company like make a mistake. But when it comes to glass ceiling, women are not giving the chance the same as men in a male dominated. But when women are giving the chance, they blame the women for any mistakes. So I think we have the correlation between glass ceiling and glass cliff. And then like the one that you said just now, the stereotypes, where women being caring and men has to like seen to be tough. This actually could like given men like mental disorder like depression, anxiety, because they can't voice out anything that they want. Like they can't voice out their emotion, their expression, and it's actually damaging the man because these things, this society expectation actually put us all in boxes. Like for instance, when a woman is assertive or confident, people might call her bossy, people might call her pick me. But if a man acts the same way, he's being praised for being a good leader. Like these double standards like limits both men and women. But um it's just, I think it's messed up society because it is definitely not for both men and women. It's not actually give us advantage, and it just gives us like horrible impact. And if you like would love to know how the society works for men and women, you can actually like listen to Taylor Swift song The Man. It actually describes it really really well, how the male dominated field, the women, how they actually like in like coloration, there's the coloration there. And if we're only like the men, if we are the men, we could just easily get jobs, get into position. It's just easy that way because they are men, they are tough. Meanwhile, women, they are seen as, oh, women are making decision based on their emotional state. So I think that statement is just messed up. What do you think, Sophia?
Yes, even more complicated if we look at the social factors like class and race. Like, for instance, a wealthy woman might have more access to education, but but a poor man does not. Like, for instance, we also can take a look at even though women may have a prestigious university, but they also face the same thing like the stereotype in their workplace, such as their ideas might be dismissed, or their or just like what you just said, that the blame on the company downfall we put on her, and so on. While for the men who are on the parasite, for like being not have enough education, they might face the same things, the same gender based barriers, though he may struggle with fewer opportunities because of his social class. Also, we can take a look of women of color, like the black woman, or even in our Asia countries, we have tan skin than the south, like fairer skin from the other countries like Korea, or Koreans, or China people. Sorry, China people, Chinese people, and Korean people, or even in our country also we have different skin tone types, like the fairer one and the skin tone one. We can see some of the privilege, like the fairer, or we call the fairer as the prettiest one, so they get the like different treatments from both sides, like men or women.
Like
Okay.
the pretty privilege.
Yes, absolutely. That's correct. Okay. And this both gender and racial discrimination make it harder for them to succeed in various areas such as education or employment. Like these different layers of inequality show that um, it is important for us to understand how gender stratification work in combination with other social factors to create even more complex barriers to equality so that women and men have the same treatment. Like there's no one feel unfairness in this world, even though it might seem like it's not possible, but we can make it better if everyone takes the action. So what do you guys think?
Okay, I think as a new generation, we can make a difference towards the stereotypes. And when we look at gender in this way, we can see how deeply these ideas are rooted in our society and how much they affect everyone. Okay, we'll move to the next topic. We are coming to an end. So it is ways to what are steps that we can take to overcome gender-based problems.
So, about this topic, can we talk about the solutions of what we can do to reduce these inequalities between men and women? Like, anyone wants to start first?
May I start first? Okay. I think education is a good place to start. Teaching kids from a young age that men and women are equal can help break down gender roles and stereotypes. If boys and girls grow up learning that they can both be strong, smart, caring, do the house chores, and they will be more likely to believe in equality as adults. And schools should encourage both girls and boys to pursue all subjects from STEM to the arts without limiting them based on gender expectations. And this can reduce more gender stratification in career fields and encourage students to explore interests without stereotypes. What do you think, Sai?
Yes, we need laws and policies that promote gender equality. For example, having laws that make sure women um, get equal pay would help close the pay gap, right? Another example is parental leave. If both men and women have access to time off for family responsibilities, it encourages sharing of childcare and housework, and also laws of like taking care of women from, I don't know, man attack,
Yeah.
because it has been like a lot of cases for like raping and stuffs, and it is very dangerous just because men are tougher and strong, like the Nick Fuentes problem. So yeah, I think that law should be like, they should activate it. So I think law is very good thing that the government could do, the least that they could do to actually close the inequality issues and promote more gender equality instead.
Thank you, Sai. I think besides law, media also play a big role, such as most of us have TV in home, right? So I think that when we see positive examples of strong women or sensitive men in movies and TV shows, it challenges these stereotypes and shows that men and women don't have to fit into specific roles, that men also can shed tears and women can also be a CEO in some movies. Okay, and such as the movies like Wonder Woman, Captain Marvel, that portray women as a successful or powerful leader, sorry, defying the traditional idea that strength is a male characteristic. Like similarly, when men are shown expressing emotion or taking on caregiving roles, like, do you guys watch Anda Itu Tak Di Dia? Yes, where Shukri Yahya play a doctor and also taking care of his daughter while her wife working on his wife, sorry, his wife working outside the country. Yeah, right. So that's kind of role change our perspective. It's also help the stereotype that men should always be tough or unemotional. Like it prevent that way. Okay, so media has the power to reshape our ideas about what is normal for each gender. When us as young adults and also the children see this diverse or representation, it broadens our understanding of what both men and women can achieve. Okay, this can lead to a more inclusive society where people are not limited by outdated gender roles, such as like what I just said just now. And by this way, media can also help to change the way people think about gender roles and promote a balanced view of both genders, like for men and women. So, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree with you. And do you guys agree that I might say workplace can make a big difference too? Yeah. Companies could have policies that encourage fair hiring practices so more women have a chance at leadership roles. They can be a leader. They could also encourage men to take parental leave, making it easier for everyone to balance work and family. So that it is easier for the husband to take care of the children sometimes.
Okay, so yeah, I do agree that, and I do agree with me, Sophia also, that media actually have more power to like promote balanced lifestyle, balance equality in gender, and yeah, that is correct. Like instead of the notice for hiring says that we need men, no, you also need women. So yeah, just hire both of the genders. Why not? You know, just because men are stronger doesn't mean women are not. So I think that's actually sums up to everything, Sophia.
Um, so it takes a combination of education, policy changes, media representation, and workplace supports to really make a difference. For example, let me add one more thing. It's like schools can promote the gender equality and encourage both boys and girls to pursue any career that they choose. And policies like equal pay and parental leave help reduce the gender pay gap and promote shared responsibility at home. Also, like what I just said just now, media representation, like showing women in leadership roles and men as a caregivers, challenges these traditional stereotypes. And workplace support, such as flexible hour and fair hiring practices, ensures equal treatment for both genders. And each of these areas helps us to make society fairer for both men and women.
Can I add more? So, having more support systems like counseling and mentorships for women in male-dominated fields can help as well. Can help a lot actually. If women like feel supported in their careers, they are more likely to reach higher position and encourage other women to do the same, even higher than men do. So, yes,
Yeah.
you are.
Do you guys have anything to add on?
I think that's all.
I think that's it.
Okay, and then uh, and yes, and by working on all these fronts, we can start to create a real lasting change to our society. So I think we have concluded that we are agree to our topic. We are all agree to the topic that we have discussed about.
Gender and society. Yeah. Which is gender and society.
Yes, and I think we have come to an end of our discussion. Thank you for listening. Until next time, thank you.
Thank you.